All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I'm Elizabeth Bernhard with Youth Solutions and the Jobs for Michigan's Graduates Program. It is my pleasure and my honor to welcome all of you here today. We're thrilled that you joined us to learn more about the construction industry as a whole and about the Construction Jobs Academy of Michigan, which is a new initiative launching this year. I'd like to point out, as you've probably already seen, this event is being recorded, and we have specialists and teachers across our state sharing this event with their youth in their classrooms. Throughout the event, if you have questions for our presenters, please add them into the chat. And we will also have a Q&A process at the end where you are very much welcome to go off mute and ask the questions personally of our presenters. The Construction Jobs Academy of Michigan, or CJAM as we call it, as I said, is a brand new initiative that will ultimately serve to train young men and women like yourselves in the skills needed to be highly employable across our state with the construction industry. CJAM is a collective effort. As you'll see here on the screen, there are many partners who are making this initiative possible. So I will mention who they are, and you will hear from several of them today in today's presentation. Part of CJAM is the Southeast Michigan Construction Academy, Emerging Industries Training Institute, SEMCA Michigan Works, the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association, Michigan Construction, Associated Builders and Contractors of Southeast Michigan, Jobs for Michigan's Graduates and Youth Solutions, the Michigan Concrete Association, and the Methodist Children's Home. So we hope that you enjoy this presentation. We hope that you get a lot of value from it. And we also hope that you will also consider joining the Academy that is launching in January in Southeast Michigan. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce Heather Smith, Marketing Director with Michigan Construction.
Hi everyone, I'm Heather Smith. I am the Marketing Director for Michigan Construction. I am also the Director of Engineering for the private markets for the Michigan Concrete Association. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about construction. What is construction? What kind of opportunities are available? What are the different areas and sectors of construction? And kind of a whole bunch of different ways that you can connect to this industry. So with that, we're going to get started with a little video here that I have about the number of people we need working in construction for the next. So right here, 9,000 workers is the reason we are all here today. The construction industry across Michigan needs 9,000 workers every year additional in order to get the jobs done that are on the books. So when we talk about construction here at Michigan Construction, we talk about industry sectors, and we talk about how do these different industry sectors work together and what are the different types of careers. So the question that we ask you as a student when you're thinking about going into a career in construction is, what do you want to build? The construction industry's 4 subsectors each have different owner types, contractual requirements, licensing, regulations, scopes of work, and data sets kept by various government agencies and industry interests. So the first question we ask when you're thinking about construction is, what would you want to build? And then this breaks us down into 4 different sectors. The first 2 are probably the most recognizable. We have a residential sector. The residential sector builds, remodels, and maintains the buildings where we live, apartment homes and homes that are unattached in like a neighborhood. Approximately 50% of residential builders construct new homes or apartments, but the other 50% is involved in remodeling, service, maintenance, roofing, siding, all different things that we need in order to maintain our homes. So residential is really broad because you have this new construction and sometimes you think of, oh, it's just a home being built. But once a home is built, we have to maintain that home with electricians and plumbers. And when something breaks, you need someone to fix it. So there's a whole industry revolved around residences. The second industry that you could get involved in is the commercial industry. The commercial sector builds, remodels, and maintains the buildings where we work, learn, heal, and worship. also known as the non-residential building construction or the vertical construction sector. This commercial sector represents approximately 1/3 of overall construction spending on a national level. So commercial construction would be your hotels, your churches, your sales facilities or buildings where, malls and shops. It would be your downtown areas. So this area, commercial construction, needs a lot of the same types of careers as residential, but you need a lot more licensing and different facilities. Next, we have the infrastructure sector. The infrastructure sector builds and maintains the things that we don't really think about: the roads, the bridges, the water and sewer systems, and other critical public works. Infrastructure workers truly change the world by providing the essential services we rely on. When we turn on the lights, the infrastructure people will that. When you drive down the road, everywhere that you go, everything that we do that we sort of take for granted, the fact that our toilet flushes and gets rid of our waste, things like that, those are all infrastructure related careers. And there's hundreds of different types of careers just revolved around building and maintaining our infrastructure. And Ken will talk a little bit more about that here in a few minutes. The last sector that we have is one that we don't think of a lot, and that's our industrial sector. Because again, this is one that these buildings are not typically in very residential or populated areas. Industrial facilities are typically in their own industrial area. They're very specialized. They build complex buildings and facilities all across the globe. They're power plants, chemical plants, steel refineries, manufacturing facilities. These are all things that are built in the industrial side that there's, again, a whole level of construction careers that are different than infrastructure and residential and commercial that are involved in the industrial building side. So that first question that we ask is, what kind of things do you want to build? And that will take us into our next question, which is, well, once you figure out what you want to build, well, what do you want to be? The jobs people do in construction are best categorized into 5 different categories. It's important to note that the specific terms used to describe occupations vary greatly. For example, a commercial carpenter is not the same as a residential carpenter, is not the same as a bridge carpenter. Licensing requirements, qualifications, skills, tasks, and other access points for careers in these sectors are not the same for the same careers in other sectors, even though they may commonly be called a carpenter. So just the term carpenter is not sufficient. We got to think about a little bit broader. So that's why I talked about the sectors, because that kind of can define what type of carpenter you would be. Most construction occupations have different career paths specific to each of those 4 industry subsectors I talked about. So the 5 sectors or 5 areas of construction careers, they're separated into construction management, which our specific occupations include project administration, estimating, construction or site managers or supervisors, foremen. This is the construction management side. So you're the one on the job site helping to manage all of the activities taking place. The second side is on the initial side of construction we need people to design, architect, or develop the architecture, engineering, and we need people to develop these ideas for building these particular facilities, whether it's roads or bridges or the next Amazon facility. There's architecture, design, and engineering. So civil engineers, surveyors, mechanical engineers, architects, these are all on the engineering and design side of a construction project. Typically, these particular jobs in construction require an advanced degree, like a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Michigan State University, and I do all sorts of things, all related all across this industry, but that's what I went to school for. I wanted to design bridges and roads, and so that's the sector that I chose, and that's what made me choose civil engineering. I wanted to build bridges, so I found an engineering program that built bridges. So the next side is the construction trade side. That is our hands-on, boots on the ground side. That's where you're learning how to actually build the bridges or build the roads or install the electrical. So specific occupations could be bricklayers, carpenters, plumbers, heavy equipment operators, electricians, I already said carpenter, but these are your hands-on trades. And there are dozens and dozens of hands-on trades that it takes for a construction project to be completed. Next, we have our testing and inspection side. This side is one that we don't really think about a whole lot, but I work for the Michigan Concrete Association, and we certify thousands of concrete testers all over the state of Michigan. So in the state of Michigan, you can take a class to become a concrete tester and go out on the job sites and test concrete for a living, making very, very good money. So these are building inspectors, material testers. So every product that we place has to be tested or inspected in order for our jobs to be open to the public. So this is another great area. Testing and inspection does not require an advanced degree typically. There's a lot of ways you can get involved and just work your way up in this specific area. And many testers and inspectors that I know work their way up to project managers and construction managers through their testing and inspecting jobs. And the last thing that we have in another area of construction that people don't think about is the equipment, materials, and supplies. So every job site has to have supplies delivered to the job or moved around, or you need to have specific types of tile or roofing, or even just the basic materials that go into a job site. These specific occupations can include materials engineering, product representatives, material handlers, salesmen, truck drivers. All of these different career opportunities work together for our jobs to be complete. We cannot have a construction job completed without all 5 of these areas being involved in the construction of our job. So there's hundreds and hundreds of jobs all spread out in these types of areas. So we start with our question of, what do you want to build? And then when you think about what you want to build, well, what part of that would you think would be really cool? And that would help narrow down maybe where you would start in the construction industry. Now I'm going to show a quick video. It's a video showing the scope of the construction industry, how construction starts somewhere where we don't even think about it, with materials being blown up off of a face of a cliff. These are aggregates that will eventually end up in our, in this case, in Little Caesars Arena. So here's a quick video to show you kind of the scope of what construction really does and how it encompasses the entire state of Michigan.
It begins here, deep beneath the surface, falling, moving, crushing, changing, starting far from its final destination, a path defined by generations, from the shore to the open water, on a great journey, bringing with it the promise of a better tomorrow. People working together to improve Michigan and taking pride in our future. The graceful and the gritty combining to form great feats of engineering, literally paving the way for a state that is safer and more connected. And at the end of the day, you can look back knowing you've moved things forward. Build a better Michigan. Your future awaits at michiganconstruction.com.
So as I turn it over to Ken Bertolini, I'll leave you with one of the coolest parts about construction and one of the reasons I got involved in construction, and that's what the career path that I chose, was that at the end of the day, I can take my family, my kids, my husband, my mom and dad, buy projects that I worked on, designed, inspected, tested, and show them I was a part of this job. There's something that's here that's lasting that I got to be a part of. And I did it as a team. And it's one of the most rewarding careers, I believe, that's available. And that's why we're doing this great program called CJAM. So hopefully you guys will be able to experience that rewarding career as well. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ken Bertolini. He's the Director of Workforce Development for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. And he's going to talk to you a little bit about the infrastructure sector specifically and some of the career opportunities offered there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Heather. As she mentioned, my name is Ken Bertolini. I'm the Director of Workforce Development for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. And I would first off like to say good afternoon. Thank you for being a part of this and learning what we have to say. I also want to say that, you know, one of our main focuses here is to show that the construction industry is very vast, as Heather, you know, so aptly pointed out. There's residential, industrial, there's infrastructure, there's commercial. So there's no real, you know, people see people out there working on buildings and they just kind of maybe pigeonhole. What we're trying to show students are that there's a vast and tremendous opportunity. And even if your interests are a little bit varied, there's probably a pocket where you might be able to fit in very nicely. So what is MITA? MITA is an association that represents all the road builders, bridge builders, underground and utility contractors throughout the state of Michigan. So as you drive across the whole state, including the Upper Peninsula, any bridge work, road work that's being done, chances are one of those companies that are working on it is a member of MITA. We try to ensure that funding continues to flow into the state for roads and bridges to be worked on. We also work on safety. One of my main responsibilities is workforce development and trying to get people interested in being a part of the industry. So when you look at a road, you know, this simple picture basically shows, you know, paving and some lines on a road, right? And that's what most of us see. You don't really think about what is underground and what's really happening and everything that leads up to this final layer of asphalt paving or concrete being placed down on the roadway. So this gives us a little bit of a better picture. If you take a look at the picture on the left, you see the road base, but then you see other things happening underground. You know, there's a gutter system to bring water away from the road. There's a crown, you know, a higher point in the middle. That's all done, as Heather so readily put, by engineers, people that are designing it. The Michigan Department of Transportation, they have a lot of engineers that basically design how all the roads are supposed to be built. There's sewer system, telephone cables, electric cables, gas, water main. So there's a lot of things that are happening under there. And if you look to the picture on the right, you see the surface, but then there's binder, base, subgrade. The video that Heather showed, you know, showed some mining of earth and gravel. So that all needs to take place. All that material needs to be hauled out. So we have trucking companies that are involved with road building, as well as many, many others. So what kind of jobs do we offer? Well, there's laborers. So that's what a lot of people see when you're driving down the road. There's people that are installing that subbase, prepping it, handwork, engineers that are taking measurements to make sure that the grade work is being done correctly, compaction tests to make sure that everything underneath the road system itself is going to be sufficient in order to withstand the amount of traffic and the weather that we have in Michigan. There's heavy equipment operators, you know, who doesn't like watching heavy equipment or being a part of that, and that's something. So if somebody is more interested in, you know, hey, I want to be one of these people, I want to be a guy or a gal that hops on a piece of this equipment, there's training that's there. And if somebody is really wanting to be a part of this particular part of the industry, that opportunity is there for you. Bridges are real big. I think they're kind of cool. Heather obviously does. That's what she studied. So there's opportunity there. Bridges, we have a big bridge going on right now, the Gordie Howe Bridge that's being constructed from Michigan to Canada. That's a big project that's international, I guess, if you really want to call it that, because there's a Canadian side and there's the American side, and there's different rules and regulations. So this whole project actually encompasses two countries and a lot of different things that are happening to make it happen. Personally, I have a couple of great uncles that were part of building the Mackinac Bridge. And if anybody has ever driven over that, that was built in the early 50s. I think they completed it around 1954. It took about 3 years to construct it. And anytime I am driving over that with my mom, or I mentioned the bridge itself, she always says, you know, hey, your great uncles were part of building this. So that legacy is always there. As again, Heather mentioned, that pride of being a part of something that is going to withstand time, and many people are going to enjoy it. That's what we do in construction. We build things for people to enjoy and to be able to utilize and to make their lives better. There's underground and utilities. So just as that other picture on the previous slide showed, there's a lot that's going on underground. As you see by the picture on the lower right, you see some manholes, you see some transmission lines, a couple of the other pictures showing, you know, water main, ductile iron, things that are affecting our everyday lives. And, you know, everybody wants to drive on really nice roads and get home on time from work. And they want to be able to turn on their tap at the faucet and make sure that that good water is running through it. That's a lot of what we do. So the career, there's a multitude of career options. So as I stated at the very beginning, you know, if your interests are equipment or if your interests are laboring, one thing I want to point out is the opportunity that we're showing is that there's opportunity for people like Heather and even myself. I have a construction management degree from Michigan State University. There's 4-year degrees, there's 2-year degrees. There's programs like EITI, which you're going to hear about, and SUMCA that Mickey is going to talk to you about. And there's also the opportunity for somebody to go through a program like CJAM and enter it and get excellent pay. But what I want to remind folks, and what I always tell our young people, is that, hey, you have a tremendous opportunity to make upper 20s, low 30,000s per year without any additional education. But are you going to be maybe a laborer for the rest of your life? Absolutely not. There's opportunity for advancement. A lot of these companies have been around for over 100 years. And when they invest in a person, they are hoping that that person stays on with them for a long time. So they pay them well, they give them tremendous benefits. And the expectation is that you're going to move up the ladder and start becoming a crew leader, a leader within the company, and maybe even advance into estimating positions where you're looking at plans, specifications, and bidding on work and helping to secure that work, or being a manager on a job, just making sure that everything is being done correctly. But that last bullet point of a satisfaction of a job well done, that's one of the things that I love about this industry, is that after every single day, you can walk away from the work that you have done and you can see progress. There's a lot of careers that don't offer that. Sometimes you go home and you scratch your head and you go, I don't know if I made a difference today. The nice thing, the tangible thing about construction is when you're done with your day, you look at it and you say, wow, we put in this much more roadway, we put on another story onto that building, etc. So that satisfaction of a job well done is something that never goes away. So with that, I would like to introduce William Aaron. He's the Chief Operating Officer of EITI.
You know, before Will steps in, I just want to say a few words. My name is Anthony Jackson. I am the founder and CEO of Emerging Industries Training Institute. And I just want to say, I want to thank you all for just taking the time to listen to these great opportunities. I just want to piggyback off of Ken, and thank you, Ken, for the warm handoff. But one of the things Ken said is it's rewarding. I think back to when COVID first hit, and a lot of people were laid off, a lot of people lost employment. But if you notice, the only thing that kept moving, the only people that were really working throughout the pandemic were construction workers. And then when we talk about companies nowadays, it's really hard to find a company where you can really go and retire from. And construction is one of those industries where you can make a long-lasting career. So with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to William Aaron, who's our Chief Operating Officer, who can explain a little bit more about what Emerging Industries has to offer you all.
Thank you, Anthony. Next slide. So we are the training provider for the CJAM program. We're housed in the city of Detroit. However, this opportunity through CJAM will be open throughout the state of Michigan. And we're excited about expanding the training opportunity throughout the state. We are a 501c3 vocational training school that provides focused training in several high growth sectors. Since 2011, we've trained over 1,000 Detroit residents, 80% of whom were placed in industry related employment with family sustainable wages. And I really want to key in on family sustainable wages. When you look at a career, and this is for my young people, you have a responsibility to really strive to reach your full potential and to be able to take care of yourself and to be able to take care of a family if you choose to have one. And you have to really start as a young person to think about what options in terms of careers that are out there that will allow you to generate enough income to be able to live a decent quality of life. And the construction industry is one of those industries. So I implore you, as you're listening to this presentation, that you keep in mind, hey, I'm going to have a family one day. Hey, I want to own a house. I want to go on trips. I want to, own a boat like Mickey or somebody like that. I see him smiling there. But you want to have these nice things. And this is a type of industry that will be able to afford you that lifestyle. Next slide. So what is CJAM? The Construction Jobs Academy of Michigan. It was established to develop, train, and place Michiganders in the construction industry. The program is available to anyone over the age of 18. It is a 14-week hybrid approach. So when I say hybrid, I mean half will be classroom, the other half will be hands-on. We just don't want to bore you and sit you in a classroom. You're used to that already. We want to make sure that you have hands-on experience so that when you enter the market, you are not only excited, but you are confident that you're able to hit the ground running once you get that job. We will teach you the basics of carpentry, concrete testing, electrical, and you'll get exposure into road work as well. So it's going to be a great experience for those who are interested. Upon completion of the CJAM program, we will work with our network of employers to place you. As I mentioned previously, EITI, we have an 80% placement rate. We have a great network of employers who are, chomping at the bits to get young men and women such as yourselves into the construction industry. Currently for our program, we use the NCCER curriculum, which is the National Center for Construction Education and Research. This is a nationally recognized body for construction education, and the certifications that are offered through the NCCER are credentials that you can take with you outside of the state of Michigan if you choose to travel. So you hear this title. The title of this slide says, "The Journey Towards Success Starts Today." I wanted to highlight through this video a program that we did in the city of Detroit with EITI ourselves, Go Green Contracting, which is a large abatement company in the city of Detroit, as well as Guyanga, which is another large demolition company in the city of Detroit. This was a great pilot program that we did, but we're through this program and the training that we did in this program, we're going to expand this throughout the state of Michigan. So take a look at the video.
On this episode of 10,000 Opportunities, we're going to be exploring construction and skilled trades. Detroit is seeing a boom in economic development, and that means there's a huge demand from employers for skilled trades workers. Today, we'll be taking a look at two programs designed to open the door to a career for Detroiters who want to play a part in literally rebuilding Detroit. So let's get started. Over the last few years, Detroit has seen over half its blighted properties either demolished, secured, or rehabbed. But there are still several thousand more to go, and that's going to take workers with construction and deconstruction skills. One of the most important things we do at Detroit at Work is to ensure that the industry training programs are employer-led. Detroit at Work has partnered with Emerging Industries Training Institute and Detroit construction companies like Go Green and Guyanga to develop a training program that will provide Detroiters with the skills they need, as well as a stipend while they train, and with a guaranteed job when they finish.
To the individual that's considering making a career change, this is an excellent opportunity. All you need to have is the willingness to work hard, to show up to work on time, and the willingness to be a team player. We can take it from there.
So EITI is a state licensed vocational training school located in the city of Detroit. And what we do is we provide vocational training options for residents so that they can get a leg up as it relates to earning industry recognized credentials and also employment. Well, you have so many Detroit residents who are looking for employment or training options. Detroit at Work serves as a pipeline for those individuals to come and explore career pathways. The recruitment, the organizing, partnerships that Detroit at Work is able to gather in the community is very valuable. It's a very valuable resource.
Coming out of this program, students will have employment. In most cases, students will interview for employment prior to being accepted into the program. And once you do so, on average, the starting wages will be about $20 an hour on average.
Just driving down the road, I saw a billboard, wanted to get into construction, skilled trade, but didn't know how. And I saw that Detroit at Work had different vocational schools. The training is very helpful because some schools you get more technical, other schools you get more hands-on. EITI is more of a hands-on vocational school. 10 years from now, I see myself being a general contractor, having my master's degree, and having my own team, and just rebuilding the city, keeping that energy going.
To see people enter into our training program, in many cases, people come with no hope, but they leave with employment, and that's the real reward for us. Proposal N can create an additional springboard for the citizens of Detroit because it supports training. It will help rehabilitate homes. It will help rehabilitate the city's workforce. The beauty of it all is that the funds will actually stay here, and you will see Detroiters on these work sites.
I'm proud to be a member of Detroit and being able to rebuild the city, rebuilding the community. There's a lot of abandoned housing in the city of Detroit, demolition about 4,000 homes, and I'm thinking to myself, man, those homes need to be rebuilt and they're gonna need staff and workers. So it's gonna be perfect.
When it comes to residential construction in Detroit, I see a bright future. And as you see with the property behind us, there's a lot of demolition. So there's going to be a lot of new construction that's going to have to be built on these same sites that's being cleaned up right now. We've been working now with EITI for selecting candidates. We help them do the interviewing process. What better way to do it than the contractors that's going to be looking to hire them?
So the opportunity in construction in Detroit right now is exploding. And what's exciting about this opportunity is that the careers you get actually are living wage jobs that come with healthcare, benefits, allow you to really grow your skill set. And so we've worked intimately with Detroit at Work and also EITI and Go Green to ensure that our program prepares Detroiters for day one on the job to be effective in their career.
To be able to have access to them to give us that talent, it makes our life a lot easier and allows us to get more of this work done.
So right now in the Detroit market, there's not enough talent to fill the job requirements that are needed. We're working very hard to make sure that Detroiters are aware that these careers are here and that they'll be able to take care of family and live a sustainable life.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So one of our cohort participants, and anytime we have a cohort, we always want to highlight those who are success stories, because for our young people, you can hear me talk about it all day, but when you see it and you see someone who may look like you, see someone who may have came from circumstances that you may have, it has a different sound, right? And this is one of our former students, Torrance Pollinance. He was part of a couple cohorts back. And when he came into our program, Torrance had lost his father and his grandfather in the same week. And that was unimaginable for me. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And those two men had such a positive effect on his life. But when he came to us, he said, I just need a chance. I'm a father, I'm a husband. I just lost two great men. I'm down and out right now, but I need a chance. Will you guys accept me into your cohort? And we said, sure. We gave Torrance a chance. He came in, he was a star student. He participated, he helped out, he just soaked everything in. And I'm happy to say, upon graduation, Torrance was accepted into the local 1191 Laborers Union. And he's working on Detroit-based projects, earning $29.83 per hour. And that's just a start. So you can imagine if we check in with him 5 years, 10 years down the line, where he will be at. His persistence, drive, spearheaded by the responsibility of being a devoted husband and a father, has allowed him to stand steadfast in the pursuit of his goals. And I encourage all of you who are listening, my young people, stand steadfast in pursuit of your goals. There will be challenges. There will be hurdles. You will face many things on your route, but please keep your head down, keep grinding, keep working, and one day we could be looking at you as the picture of success. And I believe that all of you have the potential and the ability to get the job done. So keep at it. Next slide. And EITI, we're customer driven, customer focused. We are the boots on the ground, and this is a representation of who we serve. We got women, different nationalities, different backgrounds. These guys were one of our cohorts, and you see we're working on a debt project for the Detroit Land Bank at that time, and they're posing, they're proud, they're happy, and they're Carhartt, down to the socks. Carhartt is one of our sponsors. You see the hats, the jackets, the boots, most importantly the boots, in the jeans and what have you. But this is, look at this picture and insert yourself into this picture. This can be you one day. And once you finish with the program, imagine being handed off into an employment opportunity, making those families sustainable wages. So with that, I hope I've explained our training piece with great detail. I'm going to pass it to Mr. Mickey Mortimer, who's the Vice President for the Southeastern Michigan Construction Academy. And one more note, when you're done with the EITI phase of training, you'll have the opportunity to move on further to further your education with SIMCA, potentially earning a 4-year apprenticeship. So I'll let Mickey explain, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, William, and thanks to Heather and Ken as well. These guys are giving up their time and doing a great presentation today. I greatly appreciate it. As William mentioned, I'm the Chief Operating Officer actually at Southeast Michigan Construction Academy, but also for the Associated Builders and Contractors of Southeast Michigan. Who we are is that our school's been here 36 years. Associated Builders and Contractors started our school 36 years ago because they said, hey, we can't find enough well-trained, well-equipped young people to move into our career pathways. So we've been doing this for a long time. We currently have about 500 apprentices in our program over our 6 sites. So that's a quick view of what is an apprenticeship. The thing that's cool about an apprenticeship is it fits that earn while you learn that you see there in the blue. You get to work at a job which is within your career path while you go to school 2 nights a week. So you are actually earning full-on wages while going to school, vastly different than what we're accustomed to in most academic settings. So for us at the SEMCA school, we are a U.S. Department of Labor accredited program, as well as a state of Michigan proprietary school. You heard William mention the NCCER, National Center for Construction Education and Research. We have been with those people for many, many years. We were happy to, in our partnership with EITI, to make those credentials available to them as well. So that's a great partnership. And the nice thing about that William was saying is, if you decide you want to move on to an apprenticeship and go to a higher level of training, you have an immediate pathway because we use the same credentialing and the same training. You just move right over and continue your training. As it mentions there on the screen, we're a registered apprenticeship. We do electrical, we do carpentry, do HVAC, we do welding currently. We have done plumbing at times as well, depending on the demand. You can see there, one of the things we're really proud of, look at the bottom right picture, 4 young ladies in the program. The trades are a great place for young people to come male, female, various nationalities, as William was talking about. We have seen almost a 50% increase every year for the past 5 years of young ladies and people of color entering our programs. Next, if you would. That's the NCCR curriculum we were all talking about. It's all nationally accredited, so it means that you complete that program, you can see that you get credentials. It also means that we are enrolled with the U.S. Department of Labor, which means you then have a full U.S. Department of Labor accredited apprenticeship, and it prepares you to be able to go forward and, like with an electrical journeyman, take your electrical journeyman's test and move in as a journeyman and go on to be a master electrician. The next, if you would, please. Application process for us is incredibly simple. You can see there it talks about an online application. So you would be able then, after you do CJAM, to just go to that site, enroll, and you are at that point a student. The things you do have to have, just as we are with CJAM, be 18 years of age, have a diploma or a GED, social security card, driver's license. Those are all things that the federal government requires under the Department of Labor. One of the things that we did talk about a little bit earlier, when Heather was talking, that there was the 4 categories: residential, commercial, infrastructure, and industrial. We train our students to the commercial and industrial standard, because it's our belief that if we can get them to that level, they can still do residential as well. So our carpenters learn, you see somebody there cutting a wooden 2x6, but they also will work in metal and metal studs, because a lot of times the ability to transition back and forth between residential and commercial means you keep your company busy and you keep earning. If you would. Next, please. That's the application process. It's just a checklist, tells you how to go through it to make sure you don't miss anything. 1 page. It's not a big thing. Talks about the tuition there and the financial aid. Because we're an apprenticeship program, we may not use the traditional financial aid. No apprenticeship program in the nation is allowed to use FAFSA, because we aren't under the Department of Education, we're under the U.S. Department of Labor. So that is a difference, but we do have with some local credit unions where they will work very diligently to help the students be able to do student loans through them as opposed to through the FAFSA program. One of the things that's nice about our training, and you can contact us if you have any questions, is we're part of a larger association. Our ABC is also Associated Builders and Contractors, one of the sponsors of this program. We have 260 plus companies in Southeast Michigan. So when it comes time for our students to move into that and to help them get placed with companies, that's very beneficial. Not only that though, there's 63 ABC chapters around the nation. So if you're training and you're living here in Detroit and your family decides they're moving to Houston and you're 2 years into an apprenticeship program, you can move to Houston, walk into the ABC training facility in Houston and pick up your career right from that point. Many of us these days move around. It's a different time than it was when some of us who were old were coming along. So we recognize that, and it works great, and it helps because there's 21,000 companies across the country that are part of Associated Builders and Contractors. The other thing that I always want people to recognize are a couple things. William did a great job on EITI. One of the things that they will be doing during this process, especially for you educators there to see, is that they have embedded instructors that they use. So if you're sending someone to CJAM, but you have concerns with maybe their math skills or their reading skills, they'll have people there that will help them to bring those skill levels up while they're in the CJAM program. That alone helps them if they want to take that next step into another career pathway. And there are the other career, Ken mentioned, so did Heather, that, you know, there's different things. You come into a career in construction, you get your base, you learn to be an electrician, you learn to be a carpenter, but then that opens a lot of doors. You can become the project manager like they talked about, you can become the estimator. You have an opportunity to own your own business at some point in time. So we like to believe that, you know, the doors in front of you, it's just up to you whether you want to, 1, build it, and 2, walk through it. With that, thank you.
Thank you, Mickey. And thank you, Heather, Ken, Anthony, William, and Mickey for your time. We so appreciate your guidance, your time, and your expertise and your passion that you have for training young people in construction and getting them ready to join a career that's lifelong. So let's talk some more about CJAM. So I have there on the slide the website where you can go to find more information about the program. As William and Mickey mentioned, CJAM is for those who are 18 years and older. If you are really close to age 18, I'm sure that we could have a conversation with you and consider you for the program. One thing I'd like to mention is that we are making an exception for you if you are working toward a GED and you haven't already obtained it. If you are in a Jobs for Michigan's Graduates program pursuing your GED and you want to participate in CJAM, you are eligible because we know that you're on that path towards lifelong success. So the Construction Jobs Academy of Michigan is piloting this year in Southeast Michigan in partnership with SEMCA Michigan Works. But we at Youth Solutions and the Jobs for Michigan's Graduates program are choosing to partner with these associations and with these training providers for several reasons. One, as you heard Ken mention, MITA represents 500 employer partners statewide. Mickey mentioned 260 employer partners just in Southeast Michigan. So what does that mean for you as young people? So you have already right there 760 employers who want to meet with you and hire you because of your participation, your potential participation in CJAM. But what Mickey also said is that Associated Builders and Contractors is one of several chapters across the state of Michigan. Heather, part of the Concrete Association, represents hundreds other employer partners. So we at Youth Solutions love these three associations because of their ability to take this program statewide. So while it's true that we are launching this in Southeast Michigan in partnership with SEMCA Michigan Works, we intend to take it to other parts of Michigan so that you as Jobs for Michigan's Graduates Youth have access to it no matter where you're located. Because of the employer participation, we know that you would be highly employable. We also know that people participating today, you might be in 9th grade or 10th grade or 11th grade, and you're not yet eligible for CJAM. That's okay. We want to keep you involved. We want to keep you interested in construction so that when you are 18, you have the opportunity to participate. So let's open it up to you as young people and as educators for your questions. We'd love to hear what you have, questions you have about the industry and questions about CJAM in particular.
I have a question.
Please go right ahead.
How many hours, like for construction people, how many hours in a day do you work?
Who would like to take that one?
That's a really good question. Oftentimes construction obviously can be cyclical and it also can be weather dependent. So with that said, a lot of our contractors work quite a bit of time during the summer months, obviously, and then they slow down substantially during the winter. There are a lot of people that actually join the road construction, bridge construction industry because of that. Oftentimes as well, I don't want to scare anybody with this, but they're laid off. That does not mean that they are fired. It just means that they're not working for a couple of months. But what a lot of them do is they travel, they go down south, they may work for another company. All the while they're earning roughly about 80% of their pay by being laid off. And then in the spring, when the industry kicks back in, then they are back to work receiving full pay. But then there's other construction that's indoors that goes year round, and maybe somebody else can address that.
Yep, for the most part, carpenters, they pretty much work year round. Throughout the summer, they'll do and schedule outdoor work. And once the weather starts to change, they'll start scheduling inside projects such as basement refinishing projects, kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, and you name it. So as a carpenter, you have more of a chance of working year round and as a laborer in that position as well. So I hope that answered your question. Great.
Other questions from the audience?
Yes, I have a question.
Great, thank you.
Are you guys felony friendly?
Great question, Frederick. And yes, we are felony friendly. Just to give you a little bit of background on why I jumped into training for construction, I used to work as a business service rep with Michigan Works in the early 2000s. And one of the challenges we had at the time was trying to find individuals employment based off the criminal background. Construction was one of the only industries that really did not mind employing individuals with criminal backgrounds and giving people another chance in the workspace. So that was a great question. Felony backgrounds are not a concern. However, certain convictions like criminal sexual conduct could be a little bit challenging because the parole agents that are involved restrict where those particular crimes committed, those particular individuals can work. You can only work so close to a playground, so close to a school, which can become challenging when an employer is trying to schedule you for employment. But other than that, just about any other conviction is accepted in the industry. Now, you may be restricted from certain sites, certain government projects that may not allow anyone with a criminal background or a felony to work on those specific projects, but there are tons of other projects that that individual can work on. Great question.
Yeah, and the ABC has an initiative training citizens, as well as we also do an initiative with hard hats to helmets, bringing back those people who are returning from the military. So we understand that it's part of what we do as on a regular basis.
These gentlemen are guests. They are not usual JMG students, but they came from our high school to attend this today, and they have a few questions for you, and they have to go to class. So we'll let them ask that, and hopefully you can answer them if that's okay. Sorry to cut.
Please. Thanks, Jocelyn.
Thank you. Go ahead, guys. What were your questions?
How much do you get paid when you start working? So like hourly? I was just asking.
Yeah, great question. On average, in the field, you'll start somewhere between it can be anywhere between $15 to maybe $20 an hour. On average, we're seeing individuals start off at about 18. And in this industry, the more you learn, your pay will increase. So that was a great question.
All right, thank you.
What was our other question?
Do you guys have like a summer camp?
We do offer what is called Grow Detroit's Young Talent program throughout the summer, and we expose individuals to a 6-week training course and expose you to the career in carpentry or construction industry. And that's another good question because that's a paid opportunity. And students actually receive hourly wages throughout the summer to learn more about construction.
And I will say that one of the things we're looking at Youth Solutions in the JMG program is how can we make this a summer opportunity for those who are in high school and have an interest in construction? It's a great question.
What grade are you guys in?
We're in ninth.
You're freshmen. Okay, so you got some freshmen here. Major interest with some freshmen. Did you have a question also, sweetheart? One more?
No, we had the same question.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you so much for answering our questions today, and thanks for a great presentation.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Thanks, Hart.
Have a good day. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for being a part.
We have another question. If a person cannot get a driver's license for medical reasons, are there other options for that criteria?
I expect that was prior to me because I mentioned the driver's license in it. Yes, there are other ways that we can do to meet the federal standard because the federal government allows you to have 2 or 3 different, there's A, B, or C sections. So there's a way to figure that out. The question then becomes, can you get to work sites? And so you may not be able to drive, but if you have somebody that you work with, we'll sometimes, even when we're working with partners in the different communities, try to say, let's get 3 or 4 students into the program together, hired by the same company. So maybe one of them has a reliable car, and then they can all ride together to work. So there's ways to make that happen.
Thank you. Anthony and William, can you address the training program, the CJAM, and what the days are looking like, the schedule? Oh, you're on mute, Anthony.
I'm sorry. I'll let you take that question, Will.
Yeah, so we're looking at it's a Monday through Friday schedule. We have proposed, basically a 5-hour day, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to, was it 2 p.m.? So, that's where we started. We haven't tweaked anything as of yet. So who knows, it may be tweaked a little bit, an hour here, an hour there, but for now, that's the schedule.
Thank you. We have time for probably one more question. Anybody else from the audience who would like to chime in?
Oh, I have I see a
William.
question. I see a
Great.
question. Sorry, Elizabeth.
Please.
Would it be beneficial to have a CDLA license credential for advancement in construction? Absolutely. That's a great certification to have. That will put you on, we talk about where do I come in terms of how much money will I make when I start? If you have additional credentials, you're bumped up the ladder before you even walk in the door. And a lot of things have to be moved in the construction industry. And that CDLA is valuable. And on top of that, when Ken talks about, hey, there's some downtime or what have you, guess what? You don't have any downtime. You have a credential that allow you to move things all year round. So you're definitely valuable. Is that Trina Winston? So I just wanted to make that point. I saw the question.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So if you are listening to this today and you want to participate in CJAM, you want to learn more. And this is for you first, those of you in Southeast Michigan and with SEMCA Michigan Works. So first, on December 15th, we are going to be holding 2 events for you to come and directly engage with CJAM. We're going to have an hour and a quarter set aside for you to come to the training facility and go through a series of hands-on activities where you're going to learn to play with concrete. You're going to work with carpentry, work with electrical. So you can assess, is CJAM right for you? So December 15th, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. to 11:45. So that will be the next step. And, pardon?
How old do you have to be to go to that December 15th thing? Like, is that like our high school seniors should go?
Yeah, that'd be
Probably not
great
younger
for high
than that,
school
right?
seniors. Yep, high school seniors are those of you JMG programs are out of school youth. That'd be a good fit for you. We will continue to do these events for our younger JMG youth, but this one is for older youth. Great question. So that is the next step for you if you are in Southeast Michigan. So speak with your JMG specialist about this opportunity and also with Suzanne Reed, our JMG program manager, and she can get you connected to this event. Now, if you are not part of Southeast Michigan Works and you have an interest, you're a JMG specialist, for instance, and you want to get this opportunity for your youth, please reach out to me. As I mentioned, we are partnering with these associations because of their ability to go statewide. So if let's say you're in the UP or you are in Benton Harbor and you want to get connected to the construction industry, reach out to me so we can make that facilitation of introduction happen. With that, I thank you all so very much for your time, for your great questions, for your attendance. It's really been a pleasure to have you with us. And to our CJAM partners, I can't thank you enough for your time and passion and expertise. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good Wednesday.